morning, friends. I was thinking that so much of our lives happen around tables. We celebrate around a table. We also, sometimes after a funeral, during a wake, we sit at a table. We feast when there's a wedding. We feast when there's a birthday. We feast when someone comes back. We feast when someone leaves. Tables and food is just really part of who we are and of what we do as people. And it's no wonder that in Robert Munger's booklet, My Heart, Christ's Home, he writes that our hearts is like the dining room of our desires. It's what we feast on. It's what we enjoy, what we love, what we consume. And when I think of the heart, this is the place where Jesus comes in and he really heals and he works in our lives. It's 2,000 years ago Jesus came, and part of his ministry was tables and feasting with people and eating with people and feeding people. And it wasn't only a part of his ministry, it was sort of like a necessity, because he was fully man, fully God, so he got hungry and thirsty. And the people in his care grew hungry and thirsty. And there's a few times in the Bible where it says he looked on the crowd with compassion because they were hungry and thirsty. And that especially with the miracle of the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. And then I think of his first miracle as John recorded it in his gospel, where he turned water into wine at the wedding feast of Cana. And I think of Matthew's account of how Jesus came and he ate with sinners, he ate with prostitutes and the tax collectors and people the Pharisees really pulled their noses up and didn't understand and questioned Jesus about why he ate with them. And Jesus' answer to them was, I didn't come for those who are healthy, I came for the sick. Because it's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick who needs to be healed. And Jesus invites us to his table. During the Last Supper that Jesus had with his disciples, he took bread and he broke it, and he said, this is my body, which I now give to you. And he took the cup and he said, this is now the new covenant in my blood. Do this in remembrance of me, for as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you're proclaiming the day until I come again. And he also said the cup and the blood is for the forgiveness of sins. See, at this table where Jesus invites us to, it's the most clear place where we can know that our fellowship, our relationship with God has been restored because of what Jesus did for us. Because his body became our bread and his blood became the wine that forgives our sins and that rescues us. We can sit at the same table with Jesus, no longer as enemies but as friends. And we can eat the food and eat what he has prepared with his own hands. It's to fulfill that prophecy in Isaiah 55. Verse 1 that says, wait and listen, everyone who is thirsty, come to the waters, and he who has no money, come buy and eat. Yes, come and buy priceless spiritual wine and milk without money and without price. Simply come and surrender yourself and accept the blessing. That was reading from the Amplified Classical Bible, which adds in the part of it's not going to cost you anything to come and partake of this fellowship with Jesus, of this restored relationship with Jesus, apart from accepting the blessing, accepting the invitation. See, Jesus has set a table before us, and as he promised in John chapter 6 verse 35, that those who believe in him will never hunger or never thirst again. That invitation to come to him stands, and there's nothing left for us to do apart from coming to the table, pulling out the chair, sitting down, and receiving the blessing from his hands. So I ask you today, are you going to accept Jesus' invitation to come and eat and to partake of him, to come and believe in him, to never hunger and never thirst again, and be completely and fully satisfied in him? Until next time, goodbye.